And while they were there, the time came for the baby to be born. And she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. And she wrapped him in clothes and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn. God had a messy plan. A plan to save the world. And to do it, he was going to send his son. But where does the God of the universe send his only son? Where does he choose to arrive? Where does the King of Kings and Lord of Lords come? A stable, a barn, a manger. Certainly no place for a king. But thankfully, this was no ordinary king. And when I say it was a messy plan, I mean it was messy from the beginning. Think about it. It was a stable full of animals and full of animal stuff. Yeah, mud and manure. No place that we would want to be born. But this was different. Why would God do it? I really can't say for sure, because even the prophet Isaiah once said that God's thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. But that same prophet Isaiah, 400 years earlier before that birth, said that all of us, like sheep, have gone astray. And God would place our iniquities on him. You see, Jesus came to a messy place, a barn. But more importantly, he came to a messy world. Why? Because he was going to be a shepherd. And he was going to take care of his sheep and make sure that each and every one of us found our way home, because that's what a shepherd does. A shepherd comes to live with his sheep. He sleeps where they sleep. He eats where they eat. And that would get Jesus in so much trouble later on in his ministry. Why are you eating with sinners? I'll tell you why he ate with sinners, because that's what a shepherd does. Later that day, or that evening, and an angel appeared to some shepherds in the field. And the angel said to them, "This will be a sign unto you. You will find a baby wrapped in clothes, lying in a manger." A sign. You ever wonder what it was a sign of? A sign for what? Maybe it was a sign that God would be accessible to anyone. Maybe it was a sign that the God of the universe, who owned everything, would be able to relate to a homeless person. Maybe it was a sign that Jesus would care less about social status and human splendor because it was unworthy of him. Maybe it was a sign to you and to me that he would expect us to follow his example. Paul would later write to the Philippians and say, we should have the same attitude of Jesus Christ, who, being in the very nature of God, did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but made himself nothing, becoming a servant, being made in human likeness. You see, being a servant, like being a shepherd, is messy. And Jesus set this incredible example for us. Our God came down to this earth and got on his knees and washed our feet. He got his hands dirty in mud to put on our eyes so we could see again. Our God set this wonderful, messy example for us to follow. So, needless to say, that first Christmas was filthy and dirty and grimy. But thank God it was. Because if it wasn't, what a mess we would be in.